Good afternoon for some people, good morning for some other people. We're still in morning here, and it feels like I've crammed enough in the day that I've dragged into the afternoon. But here we are. We're going live, so I've got on one screen the live chat. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going through some quick little tips. Feel free to put them up anytime. I'll answer them as I go along as I see them. So today, real quick, we're going to talk about a lot of people coming back after you burn out, or maybe just taking time off. Maybe the winter you just kind of take some time off of training and structured programs, and you're just trying to find that motivation to get back on it, to get back on the wagon. You got your big races coming up. You're going to train for. We're looking at probably the start cutoff time for training for Ironman California, Ironman Chattanooga, Ironman Arizona. If you're doing Kona, you should be in your blocks by now. Ironman Waco, all those events, kind of late fall, they're coming up. So most of us are now really jumping into it. I'm doing Ironman Des Moines here coming up in June, so I'm way into my program. But maybe you're just now getting out there and you're like, man, I just been either you just got done, you did your race, and I'm like tired of it. You just got tired of training, took some time off, or you just took some time off because you had to. Work was going crazy, holidays, whatever. And now you're looking to jump back into it, and you're just kind of like, how do I avoid getting in that situation where there's just so much going on and just burnout, and I just couldn't do it all. These are some tips that I've learned over time to kind of help me adjust. And does it work all the time? 90% of the time works, 70% of the time works, 50% of the time, whatever. But it's kind of helped me, it's helped others, it's helped my athletes. So we're going to go through them real quick and bust these out. And again, if you got any questions, I'll go through, put them in the chats if you're watching live. If you're watching this later, put it in the comments. I'll always get back to you. So always take a good look at how's life outside of training. You got a stressful job. Maybe you got some kiddos with some health issues. That's always been stressful for us whenever that's come up. Just housing situation. We're in the Midwest, and here in the spring, storms and tornadoes, and that's always kind of stressful. If a storm rolls through, just different things. Life outside of training, work, and family. There's tons of stuff going on. Health issues. There's all kinds of stuff. So, step back, take a look at that, because if that's ramped up quite a bit, it's going to be hard to get back into training and find some consistency over time, because something will always come up, or you're going to be stressed about that too, and it just compounds over time. Second point is, are you getting enough sleep? Like real sleep. Like, yeah, I get 5 hours, 6 hours here, and then one night I can only get a couple hours, and then one night I get 8 hours, and the other night I get six, and then I get nine, and then I get three. If you're inconsistent with how much sleep you're getting over time, and you're not being consistent with that, it's really going to show up in your training, your motivation, it's everyday life. It's going to add extra stress, and it's just going to kind of bring your health down. So make sure as best as you can. I always tell people, don't burn sleep time for training time. If that's the only time you do your training, be smart about it. Definitely don't want to see people swap out large chunks of sleeping time for training time. So make sure that you got a situation, a structure set up. And if you can't, maybe, long course training, maybe, you drop down to the 71 or Olympic distance or something like that. Something's more manageable until you get to a point where maybe sleeping can be a little bit more consistent over time. So next point is getting proper nutrition. So again, that kind of goes with sleep. If you're tired and you get hungry, you tend to kind of reach for the foods that really sound really good, instead of having a little bit more willpower to say, well, maybe I should eat chicken and rice for lunch instead of leftover pizza from last night. It just kind of helps out, but if you're not eating properly and you're not feeling properly, you have a nice carb bomb for lunch, you went out with the guys, you had some greasy cheeseburgers and french fries, that's going to weigh you down in the afternoon. And if you got a workout you need to do after work, and you're really tired and really worn out, you're just going to be like, you know what, I am tired. I'm just going to go home and take it easy tonight, because I don't feel good. Food will make a difference in how you feel, and making sure that you're getting hydrated. Kind of goes to the next point. If your hydration is alcohol, that's really going to affect you too, because it's especially if you drink something, you have a little nightcap before bed. It kind of maybe makes you feel a little bit more tired and drowsy and helps you go to sleep quicker, but overall it affects your quality of sleep, and you're not getting as good of sleep. So you're like, well, I got 8 hours, but I had a couple beers right before, so man, I just kind of crashed, and I wake up and I just feel horrible and didn't really feel like I could get sleep. It's kind of been studied and proven a little bit that alcohol will affect your sleep, it'll affect your health, and maybe nutrition. And if you need hydration, you need to be drinking the proper amount of water. Alcohol definitely does not help in that regard. So, again, I'm not here to say don't drink beer, don't drink alcohol, eat every chicken and rice all day long. I'm not here to to say that. I'm just here to say, overall, you probably need to get a good representation of healthy nutrition, healthy drinking, hydration habits, that type of thing. The next point is track how you feel and find patterns. So you find, maybe you find out, you track over time, and in the mornings you feel a lot better and a lot more apt to get things done. So maybe that's the time you say, okay, I get up early and get my workouts done because that's how I have the most motivation to do them. And then you do the rest of life and everything throughout the day. For me, especially in the evenings and afternoons, we've got kid activities going on, and it is virtually impossible that a workout will happen after 3:30 when all the kids get home. So it's either got to be early in the morning or kind of a lunch program. So I've tracked over time, mornings are my most productive times. After that, it kind of rolls downhill, and I need to pick activities that are not um, as complex and complicated and don't span significant portions of time if possible. So just track how you feel over time. You might find you're a morning person. You might find you're a night owl. Maybe, kids get to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock or something like that, and you knock out your hour workout, and then you sleep, and, you don't do a morning workout, and you like to do the evening workouts. Maybe that works for you. But just track, patterns over time to see, energy levels. I felt good at lunch. I didn't feel good at lunch. I had this for lunch. If you don't have a way to look back and say, this is how I felt and this is the parameters that might be affecting me, then it's kind of hard to see maybe when the best times to do workouts and when you're most motivated to set yourself up for success. So track patterns over time and just see what goes on with those. Next point is develop a schedule that stands the test of time. So you're getting sleep, eating proper nutrition, you've kind of tracked over time how things are going. So then you can kind of develop a schedule that stands the test of time. So, getting in, if you can only do it Mondays and Tuesdays, getting in for your morning workouts, and then it doesn't work for the rest of the week, and you find after a while, after a few weeks of doing morning workouts, you just exhausted and you had to quit and you had to take a week off from doing morning workouts. That doesn't work. So you need to find a consistent schedule that is sustainable over time. So, maybe that's maybe a half-hour workout in the morning and then a 45-minute workout for lunch, and that's all you can do during the week. On the weekends, maybe you can do kind of the longer stuff, or maybe you need to break it up. It's like, I've only got 3 hours in the morning. My kid's got a soccer game at 8 o'clock on Saturday, so I've got an hour and a half. I can get it done. Then I got to stop and get cleaned up, get everything ready, and we need to go to the game. And then Sunday, you just need to make a schedule that you can consistently do over time. And, some people get bored with the same schedule, but if you don't get your body used to it and you don't kind of get mentally prepared for it over time, it gets a little bit more difficult to start, stop, and figure out when to do stuff. So a schedule that is sustainable is going to be key. The next point is align a day with consistent bedtime and wake up time. So that goes with getting real sleep. So your body, if you're getting up at 5 one day, 4:30 the next day, 6 o'clock the next day, and you're going to bed at 8:30, 9, 10 o'clock, 10:30. I know things come up, kids' activities and baseball season coming up. People are up until God knows when watching baseball games. I understand those things come up. So I know it's kind of hard, but there may be some days where it's like, you're going to be up until 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, but you still want to get up at 5 o'clock to keep that clock going. So, maybe over lunch, you just kind of take a little power nap, for 20 minutes out in the car instead of, going to do your workout, you do a lunch break. Just try to keep that sleep pattern consistent, wake up time and bedtime. And in the long run, over a couple weeks and then months, it just becomes clockwork, and it's not a motivation factor. It's just you wake up. I wake up now before my alarm clock goes off, and it's kind of annoying because I got 2 minutes left. And I was like, oh man, I could have used that 10 more minutes of sleep. But then I kind of lay there and soak up the comfort, and when my alarm clock goes off, I'm up, I'm ready to go. So your natural clock will align to what times you're getting up if you're doing consistent same time every time. So try to do that as best you can. And I always like to remember this when you're laying in bed and those sheets are really comfortable and it's a little bit chilly in the room, but you're nice and warm and toasty under the covers. You don't want to get up, you don't want to get out, you don't want to start the day. I always feel better after I do a workout than the amount of guilt that you kind of carry around personally. It's like, I didn't get up, didn't get my workout done. So it's either I got to cram it in at some point in the day or skip it altogether. And for no other better reason of that bed was comfortable, I wanted to sleep in. I've done it myself several times. I'm still doing it. But always, 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 I felt better for getting up and doing the workout than I have for staying in bed, laying around, and hitting the snooze button for 20, 30 minutes or something like that, and then shorting a workout or not doing it. So keep that in mind, that the feeling of getting it done is more than likely going to outweigh the feeling of guilt that you didn't do it that morning. So, or didn't do the workout in general. Maybe after work, you're really tired and everything. You're just like, I just don't want to do that run, that swim, the bike, your strength workout, whatever you're going to do. Just keep in mind that you're always going to feel better for having it done and not shorting, not coming home and feeling guilty and then doing it at the last minute at 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night or something goofy. And then are trying to get up early the next day to jam in 2 workouts instead of 1. It's just easier just to do it when you have time and just to make it like clockwork, because motivation will wane over time, but that dedication to get them done, if you're consistent over time, it will just be like clockwork in your body. Just like, all right, let's do this, let's get it done. May not be the favorite workout, may not be the best workout, may not be whatever you want it to be, but at the end, you will feel better for having done it. So keep that in mind. And that kind of wraps up our tips for today, for doing some quick little tips about coming back from either burnout or just taking time off in general, and just how to kind of get back in the swing of things and kind of avoid the situation where maybe you burn yourself out or something like that. So I didn't see any tips while we're doing it live. If you're watching this later on Facebook, give it a like. If you have any comments, put it in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a like, give me a subscribe, hit the notifications button so you see future tips. I also do course tips and stuff like that. Put a comment in there if you have any questions. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, and then let me know why. You think maybe I should have added something else. I always put comments. I always get notifications for comments. I like to go back and answer them if you have any questions. So with that, bid you do farewell. Good luck in your training, and we'll see you on race day.